Alrighty, so thank you all for playing ball, for rearranging yourselves. Welcome. So how many of you were here last time, saw me lecture? And how many of you are brand spanking new? Okay, it's a good proportion. All right, so last time we heard about building a culture of innovation and disruption. But talk is cheap, words are wind. Today we're going to put what we learned last week into practice, and by we I mean you, and I'm going to sit back and watch, so it's pretty easy for me. No pressure to you guys or anything. So we're going to do this in 3 parts. So the whole theme of this, as I told you last time, my thesis is the world is amazing and there's potential in everything and everyone, and that's what I want you to keep in mind as we go through the next hour in a little bit, and we're going to concentrate on making things better. Now for those of you who weren't here last time, I talked about the bottle. In fact, I probably ranted about the bottle a little bit. And what I mean by the bottle is the example I used was the ketchup bottle analogy, in that the Heinz ketchup bottle, or any bottle, is inefficiently designed because it will not allow you to access 100% of the product that's inside. Now, I rant about this, but a group of students at MIT actually took this one step further and said, well, why not do something about it? Re-engineer the material to have minimal cohesion with the ketchup, and as you can see, I won't go through the video again this time, this is the old way, ketchup stuck at the bottom, new way ketchup pours right out like water. The other example we looked at last time was re-engineering or reinventing the light bulb, the bottle as a light bulb, and what you see here is in fact not a light bulb, but a bottle filled with water, filled with bleach, and channeling and refracting sunlight to provide as much, or if not more, light as a light bulb. So that's the mind frame I want you to walk in today's session with. We're going to do this in 3 parts. So I believe that innovation comes from people, comes from ideas, and that it comes from a clear plan from taking ideas into reality, and we're going to make this your challenge for this session. So what we're going to do today is we're going to start off with people, and by that I mean you're going to introduce yourselves to each other, get to know each other, what you offer, what you bring to the table, what's interesting about you, what disciplines you're from. And that's where we'll start. From there we're going to tackle challenges. I'm going to give you a specific topic to focus on. Your idea is to learn the art of brainstorming, by which I mean come up with crazy, wild ideas, do so in quantity, do not hold back, do not filter yourselves. And then we're going to work on taking a single idea, narrowing down all the ideas you've come up with, and making that idea a reality, okay? And then you're going to present to the class. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just divide up this workshop into sessions. I'll time you guys, and from there it's up to you guys to work into groups of increasingly larger size, and then we'll see what you come up with. So part 1, people. If Apple will play ball. Oh, what happened? All right, so one thing you'll learn about technology is that when you need it the most, it is like to fail. Okay, so while I'm pulling this up, I'll put you guys to work. So part 1 is people. So what I want you to take the next 12 minutes to do is I want to pass out markers, I want to pass out Post-it notes, and I want you to write your name and then talk to me about up to 1 to 3 things. And then you're going to spend about a minute talking to your neighbor, and you're going to tell them about one of those 3 things, or they're going to ask you about one of those 3 things. After a minute, you're going to stop talking and start listening to your neighbor, and you're going to ask them about one of the 3 things they have written down. We'll switch a couple of times, as much as time allows, but the point of this exercise is I want you to break down barriers and figure out what you each bring to the table and just get to know each other, okay? So that's why I wanted you to sit together. So I'm going to get Ross, my handy-dandy assistant, to help me pass out Post-it notes, and I want you guys to start thinking about how you want to introduce yourselves and what you want to talk about, okay? So here you go. Ross has some markers here if you want as well. if you're still in your original groups, I want you to wrap up your conversation the next minute and a half, and then I want you to start moving around and find completely different new people to mingle with and to talk with, okay? I know it seems like a short period of time, but the idea is to get you to know each other just a teeny bit and then foster conversation for later. All right, you guys, so I want you to start wrapping up your conversations. So in the next 30 seconds or so, wind down and find your seats again. We'll move on, okay? So wandering around, I caught some bits and pieces and glimpses of conversations. I heard that someone was a state champion tennis player. I learned that someone played rugby. I learned that we have seasoned pediatricians, doctors in the making, undergraduate students, comp sci students, researchers, scientists, the whole gamut. Who here learned something that was surprising or exciting to them? Anyone? Handful of you. It's good. Who here learned something completely about a topic that was new to them? Anyone? Again, a handful. All right. So who here felt like they needed longer to talk to the other people? Okay, nearly all of you. So that's the point. But now you kind of have this curiosity keeping you going as you go into the next part of this workshop. So what we're going to do now is we're going to talk about ideas. And before we do that, I'm going to lay out the ground rules. The points of this workshop, and specifically idea generation, I want you to get a handle on brainstorming, thinking from a completely different perspective, and how to take that first step from what seems like a pie-in-the-sky fairy tale idea to a here and now idea that can happen tomorrow. Okay? So, disclaimer is these rules aren't my own. They're from a design firm called IDEO. They do everything from kids to work with Disney to medical devices. And the IDEO rules for brainstorming, so defer judgment. So don't say, oh, that's silly, or that defies the laws of physics. For now, everything's fair game. Encourage wild ideas, encourage each other. So if someone says, well, I think that the next investment in research at the U of A should be into spaceships, you should say, well, not just spaceships, you should say photon-powered laser spaceships that can travel faster than the speed of light. Okay? Stay focused on the topic. So by that I mean don't go all in different directions. And that goes down to the next one, having one conversation at a time. So you'll feel really pulled to start going in many different areas, different paths. I encourage that, but keep focused on one person in your group who's talking at the time, because you might actually get another inspiration from that. Be visual, draw if you want. Art is encouraged. Do we have any artists here? Any art students? Can anyone draw a stick man? Great, okay. And then go for quantity. So your challenge is I'm going to distribute poster boards in a second here. And what I want you to do is in groups of 5, so divide yourselves up in groups of 5. I want you to take whatever post-it notes you have. We're going to pass out more if you need them. And pick one of the topics I'm going to put up here in a second. And your mission is to cover up your poster board. I've seen it done. But not for a while, so you guys might be a record-breaking group, okay? So what I want you to do, divide yourselves up in groups of 5, pick one of the following topics, okay? So you have things that really should exist, pet peeves, the greatest challenges in the world, the greatest trends or technologies in the world, or ways to positively impact 10, 100, 10,000, or 1 million people, okay? Note I say positively, so maybe stay along that trend, okay? So while you guys redistribute yourselves in groups of 5, you're going to have about 15-ish minutes for this. We're going to distribute out the poster board for you guys to put your post-it notes on. So where's my first group of 5? All right, so we have a group of 5 here. This is your poster board. You guys have enough post-it notes for now, but I'll give you some more in a sec.
Here, we'll move around.
So poster board, poster board, poster board. Do you guys need poster board?
Yes, yes.
Perfect. Now,
I think we need more people.
all right. So I'm going to ask you to just pause your work for a second. Don't worry, it wasn't all for naught. So I want you, over the next 20 minutes, sift through the ideas you've come upon, pick one of your wildest, craziest ideas, and that will be the foundation for your business. Specifically, I want you to answer the following questions. What is your idea? What are you selling? What need does it serve? What problem does it solve? Who's going to use it? Who's going to buy it? I urge you to give this thought a lot of consideration because those two aren't necessarily always the same thing. So parents might be the buyers, but kids might be the users if you're talking about a toy. Or if you're talking about a textbook, schools might be the buyers, students might be the users. Okay? How are you going to make money? Because remember, you're trying to build a business here. What threats and what hurdles will you face? What external help do you need? Who can help you? Who do you know, whether it's someone that you need for graphic design, website design, anything like that? The fun part, what is your product, your company called? Do you have a logo? That's if you have time. And what is the first step that you need to take today to be able to achieve this or to bring it one step closer to reality? Okay? So if that's a little bit too much, I've come up with business plan Mad Libs. So at Company X, we've created product name and description because of problem. Designed for user, it'll appeal to buyer because of value add. We anticipate hurdle and will overcome them by mitigation strategy. Some of our strengths include list your assets in your networks, and we're going to make money by list your business model. The first step we need to take today to achieve this is action plan, okay? So I'm going to leave this up here. You can use this as your template. If you want, I can flip through this to the questions if you find that easier. You have about 20 minutes, and then we're going to spend the next 20 minutes going through the groups presenting. You'll all have about 5 minutes to present, and then we'll wrap up, okay? And go. Say biological. Catheters. Okay, cool.
Well, how big? So we do have a lot. It's a selected person. Oh, okay. See, that's so it's like.
Alrighty, everyone. So I'm going to ask you to just finish your sentence that you are speaking right now, the sentence here. And we'll get back to the main group, and what you're going to do is you're going to present. All of you are going to come up, and maybe one of you is going to be the appointed rep. Maybe all of you are going to talk about your company. You're going to have 5 minutes, and that includes questions. So if there's time afterwards, we'll grill you for a little bit, maybe a minute or so. And without further ado, I invite you guys to take it away. Does anyone want to volunteer to go first? All right, you guys have been voluntold.
Hello, my name is Matt, and I'm here to represent our new company, Selective Telecommunications for You, or for us, actually. So you can call us STFU. We're brand new on the scene here, and we'd like to introduce our new product, the Subtransmuter 3000 Mark 1AB. So this is the newest thing that's going to be on the line. What it is, you know, you're sitting in a cafeteria, you're trying to talk to your friend who speaks a different language, someone over there is chewing with his mouth wide open, it's really bad. How are you going to solve this? We're here for you right now. What this device is its purpose is it's got a couple things. Number one, it's a translator. It even has subtitles below the person while they're speaking, so you can learn the language. Number two, selective muting of people, so you can just click a button, don't have to hear that guy chew with his mouth open anymore. He's chewing cornflakes, those are the worst. And number 3, it's awesome. It comes in all shapes and colors, so you're good to go. Anyway, so what this solves, it solves language barriers, of course, increases communication, so you can chat with all your friends, even if they're in other countries with different languages. Increases focus. If you're working on a big project in the library and that one guy's typing away really loud, you can mute that as well. It's great for that. Learning capabilities go up because you can read more, see more, well, hear more, I guess is probably a more accurate representation of that. We kind of bridge the gap between pet peeves and new technologies because this is getting rid of pet peeves. Maybe if that person's shuffling behind you, you can just turn around, do a quick mute of that. So that's a big deal, especially if you've ever gone through Hub. And then, of course, the cultural misunderstandings will go down because we've worked on eliminating that through our translation services in the subtransmuter 3000 Mark 1 AB. You guys want to? Okay, I'll keep going. So who wants this? I think this is pretty self-explanatory in that everyone wants this. We'll probably market it to students and more adult level people because it won't be free, so little kids can't buy it, but they'll want to use it as well. So essentially every single person in the world will want to use this. Maybe your grandpa can't hear very well anymore and you speak a different language than him. You can increase the volume for you while translating with big fonts so he can read it too. It's great, and your neighbor next door's loud rock music isn't going to interfere. So that's wonderful. Everyone, like we said, students again, you're in that library, you're going to want this guy right here. So how are we going to sell this? I had proposed that we reanimate Billy Mays to have him do infomercials, but we decided against that. What we're going to do is we're going to have a bunch of just nice, classy commercials, kind of the iTunes styles one of us mentioned. And as soon as we get funding, as soon as people see this, they're going to be just chucking money at us. So we might be going to Dragon's Den sometime soon, so keep an eye on your TVs for that. We will be passing around a collections bin at the end of this presentation, so if you want to start us off, that's awesome. Number 5, some problems we might have. First off, it doesn't exist. It's a minor problem we have. After that, it's something that it will probably have to involve some wireless technology, otherwise it will be wildly inconvenient to have a bunch of wires connected to everyone. So there's the fact that you could be hacked into, it could be misused. We have child and domestic abuse. Baby doesn't stop crying, do that. Go watch the news, come back, the baby's not as happy. Anyways, number 6, who will we need help from? A lot of people. First off, of course, we'll need investing, we'll need capital. We'll also need engineers, specifically of computer technology, because we are not that, or at least I don't think we are. Yeah, okay. So no, we will need that, as well as, probably there might be some biological mixing in of stuff, so we'll need some physiologists and whatnot. Might hire Kim Solez, so if he's up for it, we'll shoot him an offer. Our first step, we had 2 conclusions. Number 1 was book a meeting with Dragon's Den, but more importantly, we need to learn about what it is that we're actually doing. We need to learn about the technology now that's kind of close to it. We need to know about the physical properties of things that we're trying to manipulate, like sound and biology and whatnot. And then we need to, once we've learned, we need to get money, we need to get going, and look for the subtransmuter 3000 Mark 1 AB on shelves any day now. Thanks you guys for your time.
Fantastic. So just before I open up the floor to questions, I actually want to tell you that maybe there is a first technological step that's already available to you. So the Samsung Galaxy 4, I know Samsung is not paying me to say this, but the Samsung Galaxy 4 is actually touted to have voice-to-voice translation. So that could be your first step, and all you need to do is add the subtitles aspect to it, and then maybe figure out how to mute people. So there's your first step today. Does anyone have any questions? So I have a question for you guys. What are the ethical quandaries you face of muting people?
That is a good question. We touched on it a bit with the child abuse, domestic abuse. It's especially kind of problematic in public settings when you don't actually know the people, and you don't know what situations you might encounter. So, you know, oh, this baby's crying in an airplane. I'm going to go mute that section of the plane so I don't have to hear him. And all of a sudden there's an emergency over there, or whatnot happens, and if you don't hear him, you can't really help. Also, it's just rude. It's kind of not very nice in general. But I mean, so is chewing with your mouth open, right? So it's a balance. We're going to have to talk with a lot of ethics boards about this before we really get it through, and have to do some research into that as well, because it's not exactly the cleanest cut ethical device as of now. So that we got our HR department working on it over there. So
awesome.
Yeah.
All right, thanks you guys. That was great.
Hey.
All right, you guys are closest, so you're up next.
So when you put a bunch of medical students and a PhD biologist, you get something a little bit more like technical. So we came up with, and like very specific, so we came up with creating a biologic catheter. So for those who may not know, like a catheter is a way to drain urine from the body. But it is usually a necessity in a lot of hospital situations, but it also is one of the top causes of infections, and hospital-based infections, and prolonged stays. So we've decided to create a biologic catheter, either using other bacteria that beat the ones that currently infect the catheter, as well as our own body's defenses, and kind of channeling that into the catheter to beat the offending culprits. So this would be marketed to hospitals with the idea that paying a little bit more for this, because a catheter is just a really cheap piece of rubber right now, but paying a little bit more for this would eliminate longer hospital stays, and for a hospital stay can run anywhere from like 1,000 to 2,000 a day to maybe close to 10,000 if you're requiring a lot of interventions. So it's kind of a short-term cost for long-term relief. And then I'll pass it on for, want to talk about the hurdles?
Sure. Yeah, some hurdles that we came up with when developing this catheter is that there's so many different types of bacteria and that they mutate constantly. So it's kind of difficult to create one set of defense line that'll work for a specific amount of period or time. Another defense that or another hurdle that we came upon was the cost for research and development for something like this. We have no idea how to start or how to estimate what kind of costs would be involved in something like this. So that would be another hurdle. And just the third one would be trying to get hospitals to accept it once something like this is developed, and allowing us to experiment on patients or conduct trials, because you know, if there's a possibility for patient harm, then sometimes it's harder to get the trial approved.
Sure. So I guess I'll talk about the advantages. So advantages of something like this, I mean, hospital infections are huge causes of patient morbidity, as well as increased hospital stays. So decreasing infection helps decrease the hospital stays, saving tons of money, as well as increases patient well-being. So all the times that I don't know, bad outcomes like dying or getting like a longer hospital stay happens, that can be prevented, and we can decrease healthcare costs, which would be important as well. Yeah.
And we need help of microbiologists and genetic engineering, and we will be needing synthetic biology for the investment in research. So, and we have to invest a lot of money in research first. So we need to arrange money for the research purposes, and we gave name to this product as SynCath. SynCath, it's a synthetic biology made catheter, so it will help to reduce infections.
I think our first thing that we need to do is determine what the bacteria, the top common bacteria are that infect, and how they do so, and then look out and see what kind of defenses are out there to eliminate those problems.
Perfect. Any questions from the floor? So I have a question. So have you guys already started thinking about spin-off utilization. So for example, in neurosurgery, we use ventricular peritoneal shunts all the time, and those are prone to infection or getting blocked, for example. So have you started thinking about spinning off from a simple urinary catheter to indwelling devices, or? Yeah.
We talked a little bit about using the same technology for IV lines and what's the other one? Central lines. Because those are sometimes there if a patient needs IV therapy for antibiotics, something they get left in there for quite a while. So those would be possible spin-offs for the same technology. Is that your question?
But it's kind of, there might be different bacteria, so it all depends
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Because I imagine what hangs out in the cranium is probably a little bit different than hangs out in the bladder. So I think that there could be like a stepping stone onward, but it all depends on how specific the first one goes. If you're taking the top 5 urinary bacteria, they probably won't all apply to the, but there likely some crossover since bacteria and all the genetic mutations all have incestuous relationships.
Yeah, for prostheses in general, there are.
But I guess like in terms of like more significant morbidity, like VP lines, dialysis lines, like IJ lines and stuff like that, like they're way more of a direct connection with the body, right? So like there's a lot more bad outcomes coming from that. Although I guess, I don't know the statistic, but they're not as common as UTIs from urinary tract infections, but probably much more deadly.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. I think it comes down to the frequency with which they're employed to the frequency with which morbidity occurs. So don't know the exact numbers either, but yeah. All right, you guys, that was well done. Excellent.
Was
All
there
right.
a question over there? Or? Yeah, I think that's been done.
Silver.
Yeah, they've tried impregnated catheters with silver, and I don't think it worked as they thought it would, from what I preliminary saw. Yeah, no, that was a good idea.
The silver works for like bandages. Is that where you were thinking of?
Well, I just know it's got antibacterial properties.
Yeah, a lot of bandages are silver coated for that exact reason. But the bacteria that hang out in the urinary tract in there, they create this different type of defense that silver isn't as effective, is what I've read.
But silver environment, good.
All right, you guys, well done. So we'll have you guys go up next.
So good afternoon, everyone. We are Osmo Clean. It's a cheap, easy way to filter your water and boost your immune system as well as get your daily amount of micronutrients. So to explain how it works, we'll start over here.
Okay, it's a cup, just the size of the cup. We know that so many people in different parts of the world, they're suffering from malnutrition. So what we have in here, it is covered with kind of innate immune system receptors. If you are putting something with the pathogens inside, it will just act like that one. It will kill all the parasites, it will get rid of the pathogens and everything like that. And because it is from the nanotechnology, it has some nutrition inside. You are putting something inside, it is working based on osmosis. Extracting water from anything you are putting inside. It is adding nutrition inside, and you are getting a nice pure water with the nutrition and vitamins added to it. Background.
What is necessary?
Okay. While it's necessary, you will possibly not feel that there is clean water lack in here in the developed country, in North America. But you know that in many countries in the world, like Africa or the third world country, they're facing the problem of getting the clean water for even drinking. As back in China, we have a lot of water resources, but many rivers are polluted. If you have water, but you cannot drink it, cannot use it, so how can we change that? We can change that by our product.
And I mean, I think maybe hundreds of millions of people need this product, and actually, as Jean mentioned, there are a lot of water resources in the world actually, but most of them are maybe polluted and cannot drink directly. So, and through some charity organizations like WHO or like UN, we can spread this product to areas like Africa or some remote areas in China. Yeah.
So now the thing that everybody wants to know, the numbers. It's pretty much free to produce. It's very cheap. With technology these days and how nanotechnology has developed, we can pretty much produce these things for nothing. So you see here our market share in 4 years is like 75% of the entire market, and it'll be easy to produce and it'll be really cheap and it'll pretty much be everywhere. As we said, we'll distribute it through charities and just humanitarian efforts such as the World Health Organization and the UN, because they already have an established foothold in these developing countries. It would be easier just to be able to give them or sell them the product and have them as our distributor.
Yeah, compared to other companies, our products, the biggest advantage is cheap, and it can apply you a good quality and quality water, give you a healthy life. That's our product. That's our company.
Thanks.
Awesome. Thanks so much, you guys.
Some of the problems we feel that we might face are some of the governments don't want their citizens to be empowered. They don't want their citizens to be healthy, because if they are healthy, then they're going to be worried more about the status quo. They're going to be worried about the political situation in the countries. So we feel that that might be one of the problems. Another problem we feel that probably will exist is the fact that producing something that does this for next to nothing is completely beyond our technology at this point, as well as something that gives you an immune property as well as your micronutrients. So we need to enlist the help of a few engineers and a couple biochemists, some people specialized in this area to create this product.
Awesome.
Okay, we only have 3.5 minutes left. So
Okay, so
you guys gotta go.
all right, so we'll call the last group up, and then we'll wrap up quickly, and we'll go from there. All right, thanks a lot, you guys.
Right, so we came up with, well, we didn't come up with it, but we sort of extended someone's previous idea, and that's coming up with a pink hoverboard. We named our company Pink Hoverboards Are Us. Because, you know, who doesn't want a hoverboard? They're pretty cool. And so sort of the benefits that you'll get from it, well, in order to create a hoverboard, you need a sustainable energy that is cheap. And so with the invention of this energy source, I think this will also lead to reduction in greenhouse emissions, and it can be applied to a lot of other energy requirements as well. It'll also help get kids outside more, so it'll deal with childhood obesity, because, you know, it doesn't have wheels, it hovers. So it'll also, I think people are more likely to use a hoverboard than to use their cars. So it'll deal with the congestion issues, again, benefiting the environment. A few problems is that it's not our idea, so we're going to have to cut Mr. Spielberg in on it.